This is an enormously ambitious project for sure.
We're doing 2 operas. They are very different in some ways, very similar in others.
A double bill like this takes so much planning and time and effort and passion. Everyone here has that in spades.
The idea came to me first and foremost because I wanted as many roles as possible for these incredible singers. And I wanted to be able to feature a lot of them in prominent solo opportunities. The first act, Purcell's opera Dido and Aeneas, they represent one of the earliest written operas still performed today.
And the second piece is The Rape of Lucretia.
Benjamin Britten changed how we think of music in the middle of the 20th century.
They are just stories about people, and their story about they're recognizable people, they're complicated people. Maybe we see ourselves in aspects of their emotional worlds.
Together, it's just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see them both in the same night. I literally woke up at about 3 a.m. one morning and said, how unbelievable would it be to spend Act 1 with the Queen of Carthage, who is tricked by sorcery into suicide when her lover flees to Rome, and then come back after intermission and make the journey 300 miles away to Rome in roughly the same time period to see another tragedy befall another, iconic character of the repertoire who falls victim to a similar fate.
These are 2 pieces which are very human in a way that operas are not always. We have a lot of operas that deal with, gods and mystical things and all that kind of stuff. These are very real.
To me, what makes them both the same is they're both about how humans choose destruction and hate instead of choosing love. And that is where the tragedy happens.
It's not a lighthearted night at the theater, but I think it's a very important night at the theater.
I came here a month ago and I started working with the students. And for me, that's when it really comes to life, because my shows are really grounded in who I'm in the room with. They are open, they're curious, they are trusting, they come with a lot of ideas, they're very physical on stage, and they're incredible musicians, incredible voices.
We are very fortunate to have singers working at the level that they are. These truly are pre-professional artists.
We're telling a story, essentially. So that is the work of an opera singer and artists in general. We need to tell a story that is human. That's the challenge, to tell that story and deliver it successfully.
Our director has really brought that out of us. R.B. Schlather, he's incredible.
I didn't want to go through 2 completely different operas written 200-something years apart with a bunch of vague references to ancient Carthage and ancient Rome. I wanted it to be updated in a way. R.B. and I didn't even have to talk about that because he has really made a career on seeing what the thematic through lines are of works and finding how they relate to us today.
R.B. Schlather, he's been really amazing since day one, really open with us, encouraging us to let our creative side flourish.
I find it moving to conduct them because of this sort of humanity of the expression in these pieces.
I have to say, Ben Maness is Herculean in his ability to get through these 2 works back to back, not only from a perspective of stamina, but also from a perspective of approaching 2 works written in 2 different complete styles, hundreds of years apart from each other, representing 2 very iconic genres of the canon, with 2 completely different orchestras that don't even resemble each other.
He's really clear. I really love how he manages to capture our attention in a really professional way.
Ben Maness has been absolutely incredible in the process, and such a rock to lean on, locking eyes with him and knowing that I feel safe to come in and sing my best.
Some people don't know that the conductor also conducts the singers who are singing on stage. So my job is basically to coordinate what is happening in the pit with what is happening on stage. It requires 200% of your brain at any moment when you're there doing it, because you are split between the people on stage and the people below the stage. And you're responsible for them being in communication with each other, even though they can't see each other and frequently can't hear each other.
There's a huge process. First, of course, you learn the notes, learn the text, and you coach it with the amazing staff here to kind of polish it.
I went inward and I looked at each line of text and I thought, okay, that's how Nahum Tate would have said it, who's the librettist for the opera. that's how he said it, but how would I say it? How would Audrey Welsh put that in her own words?
So far, we've just been singers and piano in a rehearsal room. Now we're on stage with an orchestra, and it's just thrilling to watch it all kind of take shape.
It's like a puzzle. Each rehearsal, we learn a little bit about what we're going to do, about the process, about our characters.
Now we will continue with those. We'll start having rehearsals without the orchestra, but where we're adding other components, like the costumes and the lighting and the sets and all that stuff.
The costume is so cool for Dido. So the aesthetic of the whole production is kind of Studio 54, and Dido is in this kind of Elizabethan grand hoop skirt ball gown, and it kind of is a suffocating aesthetic and picture for her, which is how she begins the show. And then you'll see as she progresses on the show how the costume changes as well.
At this part of the process, every rehearsal becomes so valuable. Every minute of every rehearsal becomes so important.
People don't realize that there's so much going on underneath the surface, like a duck on the water, and underneath the legs are going crazy, but on top it kind of looks like this really polished, perfect thing.
That's what's so cool about art. It's really for anyone. It's about what you see. It's about the experience that you have.